going on, YouTube? Winks here. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. This weekend I'm going to be doing another video for the Disgaea series. Disgaea 6 is coming out soon, so I wanted to go ahead and take everything that I knew about this game and go ahead and post it, because there's no real guide for this. There's nothing that really tells you how to play this game and really maximize your characters on here. So I feel like these videos would help some people out there before Disgaea 6 comes out. So if you've been liking the content that I've been putting out, again, go ahead, like and subscribe, and we'll jump right into it. So last weekend I posted a video about how to instantly go from level 1 to 9,999 instantly, and in that video I made some assumptions, assuming that you already had gotten a level 900 statistician, beaten the game and gotten all the levels you needed for the cheat shop, and so on and so forth. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and check that out so you can be up to speed on this one. But in that video I talked about the statisticians. So this video I'm going to go over the statisticians a little bit, because that can be a little confusing. Some of you out there, it's probably not confusing, because there's a lot of people that play this game and know a lot about this game, and I've gotten a lot of information from the web, sourcing it, and kind of pieced all that together to make this series for Disgaea. I'm going to post the link to a website that I found that kind of helps explain some of the different innocents. It'll be posted down in the description for your reference. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So what is an innocent, right? An innocent is something that's found on any piece of equipment. It doesn't matter what it is, unless it's like a consumable, which I think the consumables even have it. Some of these don't. Well, some of them do though. But yeah, and innocents are these things that you see right here in this box. Everything on here has one. From weapons to armor, whatever it is, they all have different ones. And each innocent does different things. A lot of these are sentry. There's a tutor one right there, gladiator. And if you don't know what those are, you can go to your innocent farm and hover over them, and it'll tell you what it is. But you also have that link that I provided. You can look at them and see what they do also. The game has a little bit of an explanation about it, but the one thing that the game is not clear on that I want to go over is the fusing of innocence. So it basically tells you that once they're all subdued, you can combine them into one. And I'll go through and I'll show you what that looks like, what she's talking about here. It's really easy to do. But one thing that I want to point out that she says that is not correct, it says that they have to be the same type. Now just to be clear on this, when this tutorial is explaining this to you, the way they're intending it is correct, but they don't tell you that you can combine innocence of different stats to make it birth different innocence. And I'm talking about the dual innocence specifically. The game does not explain that at all. I found that by searching the web, and I was like, oh man, you can do that? And I'll show you some of the ones that I've made. But that's really the only thing as far as innocence that the game doesn't really give you a good explanation for. So you can see, like I said in the last video, once you unlock the innocent farm, in order to get the innocent farm, I should have explained that you have to put someone in that squad. If you don't put someone in that squad, you won't be able to use the farm. So you have to do that. You got to make sure you do that. And the farm to do that is down here somewhere. Let me find it. It's not that one. But you will need the hunter squad. So the hunter squad is very important. So in order to get to this point, you need to have people beforehand. You need to have people in the hunter team, because when you're looking for innocents, because remember I said you have to subdue at least 10 innocents to be able to have the farm. And this hunter team really helps with that, because it doesn't matter how high the level is, the innocent, because some of them are really strong. You can put somebody in this hunter team and it just basically one-shots them no matter what their level is. So that's really good for subduing your innocents. Now, the one I'm looking for that you have to have somebody in is I think it's this one. The Innocent Aid Squad. Enhances the Innocent Farm. So you put somebody in there, it doesn't matter who it is, just put somebody in there. You can put a generic level 1 character in there, it doesn't matter. Just put somebody in there so you can unlock it. Then you'll have this girl over here, the Innocents. And then you can manage the Innocents and you'll have the Innocent Farm. So the Innocent Farm is very important. And as you can see, you can't really see it, but I have 2 over here in the farm, the 2 hard workers, and if my head wasn't in the way, you could see how high they were. 20,000, right? And they max out at a certain point. So what you want to do is you want to take 2 innocents, the subdued ones, which are the yellow ones. It doesn't matter which ones you put in there, as long as they're subdued and they're the same type. And I'll elaborate a little more on that a little later, but you just want to put 2 subdued ones of the same type. It could be 2 of the marksman, 2 of the gladiator, that one, the coach. It doesn't matter. Just put them in there and then go run through the item world real quick. And as you're going through the item world, those are growing and they're actually producing more. And when you come out of the item world, they'll have more that will be born, and then you can combine them, which is what the tutorial in here is talking about, fusing. But there's another thing that you can do with the dual innocence, and I'll show you with my character. What I've done with mine, as you can see with this wand that I have, I've maxed out a bunch of hard workers, and hard workers is born from putting the attack innocent and the intelligent innocent, both subdued, into the innocent farm. And if you wait long enough, it'll birth a hard worker. And then you can do it again and you can birth a second one, and then you can just put the 2 hard workers in there and have it birth just hard workers. And there's other ones that you can do depending on the stats you want to increase on your characters. It just really depends on your play style and your builds and how you're doing it. But that's how that works. So if they're not subdued, you have to subdue them. So I'll pick an item and I'll run through that real quick and show you how to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to manage your innocence once you have this, and whatever weapon, it doesn't really matter. You can do a really low weapon. I would advise you to pick a low weapon and not like a carnage weapon, because the enemies in there are going to be a lot tougher. So you could pick like this old bamboo spear, and it's already got this sentry. But to show you how this works, I'm gonna pick a bunch of statisticians, because honestly I feel like that's probably the first one you should start out with. And when I look at these, I look for the highest ones. Like there's 2 1s. I'm looking for the highest ones, because when you subdue them, they actually gain a few levels. And the more the better, because you can combine them and make bigger statisticians. It's like the snowball effect. The more you add to it, and when you put them into the farm, the faster they grow, and the bigger they become, and the quicker you can max it out and move it over to your item and then start another one. Let me go through here real quick and see if I got some. So there's my one that's maxed out. When they're completed, when they're maxed to the fullest, they'll have a star next to them like that. There's also some green ones. Those are unique. The unique ones are usually found on the higher ranking items, like the legendary and stuff like that. And you can't, as far as I'm aware, you can't grow them. You only get 1 of each. And each weapon, each piece of, whether it's a weapon or armor or whatever, they all have, I believe, 39 or 40 of them. And I'll explain more of that later on, the unique ones, because you're going to need that when you start maxing your stats in this game. But for now, just focus on the subdued ones and the unsubdued ones, because those early on are the ones you need, the most. The unique ones you don't really mess with, like I said, until you start to max your stats. But it looks like, so I got some other ones, the hard workers that are maxed out. I need to move somewhere. But I'm going to go back up here and find these statisticians. It doesn't look like I got a bunch of high level ones, so I'm going to grab that guy, move him over. I'm going to move this one out because I don't really want that one. I'm going to take this guy, move him over. Level 4. So these are all unsubdued. That's why they got that red mad face there, right? So once I got them all moved over, I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna go to the item world. And before I do that, let me make sure that the difficulty is turned down, because you never want to do this with the difficulty turned up. So we're gonna go over here to the item world. In the item world, you really shouldn't even be messing with the item world until you've beat the game and you've unlocked the Land of Carnage. I know it unlocks early in the, you know, in the main story, but just word of advice, don't worry about leveling up your items before the Land of Carnage, because like I said, the lowest level Land of Carnage item will completely obliterate anybody with maxed out regular items, because Land of Carnage is like 10 times stronger than anything you get from the beginning of the game, so don't even worry about it. But once you get to this point, you know, you can practice this technique. You can go ahead and get your Statistician going before you start placing it on those stronger weapons, because like I said, you can move them around. So we're going to go in here to this item world. And this is a long process, so I'm probably going to, once I start this, I'm probably going to fast forward through all this. I'm going to show you a couple just so you get the idea, and then the rest of it I'm just going to fast forward. So you go into the item world, it's going to ask you which one you want to, you know, pick, which item you want to go into. We're going to pick that bamboo spear that I put all those Statisticians. You can see them right there on the right. So we're going to go in here. It's on floor 1. Enter the item world. And you can leave the item world every 10 levels unless you have an emergency out, and then you can leave whenever. But for this, we won't need to leave early. So when you look at these characters, it'll say what they are. And when I find an innocent, I'll point it out to you, because that's one of the things you're going to have to do is subdue innocence. But for this, we're just going to blow right through this. I'm just going to bring these guys out.
I shall go. Come on.
And we're going to run through 10 levels doing this until I find one of these innocents that we're looking for to show you what they look like. They literally just look like these characters.
I shall go.
This is just a bonus level. I'm not going to go through the bonus levels right now for time's sake, but later on you will need those too. There's a couple in specifically that you need to look for.
My eyelids are getting heavy. I shall go. Come on. Come on.
Impossible, dude!
So we're going to do 10 levels like this, right? And we're looking for those innocents, which we still haven't found any. So what I'm going to do
I shall go.
is I'm going to skip ahead. They have these things, these divers that you can use. I'm going to go ahead and dive in here a little bit quicker because I want to get to that 10th floor. And there's a reason why. The first 10 floors on any item
My
are
eyelids
usually
are getting heavy. I shall go.
the worst because you don't really yield any kind of like fruits of any kind. Don't find many bonus rooms, nothing like that.
Come on.
So we should be coming up on 10 now. And we're gonna wipe him out like he's nothing.
My eyelids are getting heavy.
Just a
I shall go.
standard item world.
Come on. Come on.
Go. And now we're gonna come to that 10th floor, Innocent Town. So this is important. This is why I want to point this out. Over here in the corner,
I'll do my best!
you can talk to this guy and you can change the route of the item world. We're gonna set it to the innocent enhanced route. So hopefully we'll see more of those innocents.
I'll do my best!
And then we're just gonna keep going. Now we're looking for those innocents. So there's one. Found one. So when you look at him, there's the statistician that we put on this weapon. He's just another character. Now we have to find all 4 of them because there are 4 in that weapon that we moved over. We have to subdue them 4 times. There's 4 different ones. So I'm not gonna do that for this.
I shall go.
I'm just gonna go through the next 10 levels and hopefully we find at least 2 because that's really all I need to show you how to do this. Got him. I gotta be careful doing that too. Just little side note, you might want to subdue the innocent first. I got lucky that time because he was so weak, but oh, there's another one.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Innocent Town. So now that we're here at Innocent Town, you can see there's a statistician. There's a statistician, and there's a statistician. I could have swore we got that 4th one too, but it doesn't matter. We got enough. So now we're gonna leave. Leave the item world. Oh look, all 4 are now subdued. And you can see that once I subdued them, they gained extra levels. 16, 20, 16, and 20. And also, like I said before, a hard worker was born, because that's what I have in the farm over there. But what you're going to do, once you subdue your statisticians, you're going to go to this farm. And what I would recommend is if you have all 4 like that, because you need at least 2 in the farm in order for them to breed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here to that spear. I'm going to go ahead and move my hard workers out. Oh, no, you know what? I'll just do it right here. So what I was talking about earlier, when you fuse them, this is what the game tells you can do. You just put them subdued into the item, and then you hit the plus button, and it asks you, do you want to combine them all? And you hit yes. So now they've been combined, and the numbers added up. And I'm going to move that over, and I'm going to bring these 2 back and do the same thing to them. I'm going to combine them, and then move it over. So now, whatever your innocent is, the concept is still the same. So I would have moved them over and then just left them there and went and did more item world farming, right? I don't need these 2 specifically, so I'm not going to keep them there, but that's what you would do. I'm going to go ahead and combine them all. Then, since I do have another statistician that I'm working on, I'm going to go ahead and move it over with that one and combine it too. There you go. And once you get to 900, your statistician's maxed out. That's what you need. As you can see, it took me 20 levels of going through the item world. Now, for you, being lower level, it may take you a little longer to get that snowball going, but once you get it going, it won't take you any time at all to get that statistician. And once you get that statistician, you're going to want to keep it and put it on one of your strongest characters to help build up your levels and then move it. That's what I did. I put it on my Killia the first time. So you got your subdued innocents, you got your unsubdued, and then you got your unique ones. Your unique ones, let me see if I can find one to show you what they look like. If I didn't already, I think I did. But again, see, I have habitual liquor on this one. Once you max your stats, you've completed that journey, which again, I'll make another video on that, because that's a whole nother video by itself. But you can go to the item assembly, which for this one I may not be able to because I have it equipped. But you'll be able to find. Oh, hang on, let me unequip it real quick. Show you what I'm talking about. So if I unequipped this, let me take one of these traps. See if I have one of those in my inventory.
The item world's full of surprises.
There we go. So I go to this trap, and she just pick somebody, and I can add a unique innocent. So for this one, I have all of them, but you can only have one at a time. It'll change the unique innocent that's on that item, and they all do different things. It's random stuff. Some of them do stat buffs. Some of them, they make you stronger, more resistant against poison or paralysis. Some of them inflict poison or paralysis. It just depends on what it is. But there's, I believe, 40 of them, 39 of them. I don't know exactly how many. Let's see. 47? 46. So there's 46 of them. So you only get the unique innocence when you're going through an item. You have to fight an item god every 100 levels in an item, and when you defeat him, you get the unique innocent. So as you can tell, I've already been at least 4,600 levels into that item to get that. And that's why farming those divers is so important early on, because you're going to be using a lot of those to just skip past a bunch of the, 1010, 1020, depending on how far you can dive into it at a time to get to the 100th level, because it's multiples of 100, and every time you'll defeat that item god to get the unique innocent. And that does not have to be on the most difficult setting, FYI, like some of the other stuff for max stats. So that's it. That's how the innocents work. You can fuse them, and that's how you subdue them. Once you subdue them, you put them in the farm, and then you can start using them. Some of my first ones that I focused on was the Statistician. The instructor was very important. The instructor helps to learn skills faster, I believe. Let me pull that up real quick, because I don't quite remember what that one was, but that one's very important. Because you're going to need that one, because I believe I used that one when I was looking for the legendary weapons, because you have to have, depending on the weapon you're looking for, like a fist weapon or a sword weapon, you have to have someone that has mastered that weapon, meaning level 100 efficiency. And I used that to quickly get to that. What does that do? Broker was another one that I maxed out. Obtain more money. So the instructor, increase weapon mastery. So yeah. So when you combine that with the cheat shop over here,
To your heart's content.
the weapon mastery, you turn that all the way up to 1,000. You can go to like the easiest map on here and just one shot a bunch of the prennies, and it should only take you 2 or 3 times, and you'll be at level 100 weapon mastery. And what that looks like is right here under status. As you can see, you may not be able to see it that well, but if you look down at like the shield, it's level 100. All your, like, depending on what weapon you're using. Let me find one that's like a sword. So for her, that's not a good example. About Void. So he's got a level 100. If you can see that, his is level 100 for his sword, and I got level 97 for the shield down there. That innocent helped get to that, and I got different ones on each character depending on what their weapon is. And I've already found a lot of the legendary Carnage items, but there'll be another video on that later on. So just stay tuned. I'm going to be making a few videos on this series. Each one's going to explain different things. If you've liked the video, go ahead, like, subscribe. If you have any questions, go ahead. Feel free to type a question in the comment section. I'll respond to you. Depending on where you are in this game, if you're still playing this game. Disgaea, like I said, Disgaea 6 is coming out soon. I can't wait for that, and hopefully by then a lot of the stuff that I'm telling you now will carry on over to that game. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.